Hi, everybody, and welcome to our Thriving LDS Singles Podcast. And today we've got an exciting topic that I know many of you are interested in. It's called dating. And I'm here to discuss it with my co-host, Kim. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
And our sometimes co-host, Juan. Hi, Juan.
Hello, everybody.
Hi. Good to see you. So, because we need the male perspective on this, on dating.
Yes.
So, Kim, you've got a study that talks about dating. Tell us about what the study's saying.
Okay, I'll tell you first. It came from the Wheatley Institute, and we'll put the link in the description. So It was done by BYU, the Wheatley Institute. It's in their family studies section. Okay. And I love the title. It was released in 2026, so it's fresh off the press, so just barely. And it's called State of Our Unions, the Dating Recession, How Bad Is It, and What Can We Do? A View Through the 2025 National Dating Landscape Survey. So they sent a survey in 2025, and this is their take on it and the findings.
Right.
And
so
this
it's mostly to
young single adults.
Young single adults, but we suspect that the results are pretty similar for all age groups, don't we?
We do. And well, you can tell us.
All right.
As you're the dating expert.
You're the dating expert.
The dating expert? No.
I don't know. I guess I've been on the most dates this year, huh?
You've been, yeah.
Well, he goes on the dates with he repeats people at least.
I stay with that one person for a while.
Yeah.
I think that's called dating, Kim. Oh.
I know. That's what I think.
I'm not sure what the single date is, but anime. What does it tell us?
Yeah. The get to know. The get to know you person.
Kim does speed dating.
Speed dating.
That's true.
But I would say spit, like, she's like, next.
Hey, they don't ask me for a second date. It's very, very rarely the other way around.
You're allowed to ask them, I think that's one of the changes of rules that's happened is that girls can ask boys now.
I know. I don't know if I'm still okay with that, but I do hear that. Okay.
Tell us what the study says.
Here's the first. Sorry, I'll quit being so loud in the microphone. Here's the first kind of finding. I'm going to read. It's like 3 things, so we'll take them apart, but let me just tell you the whole thing.
Yep.
Says only about 30% of young adults reported that they are dating either casually or exclusively. Only 31% of young adults, a quarter of the women and a little more than a third of the men, reported they were active daters, so that they date once a month or more. That's active dating, once a month or more. Nearly 3/4 of the women, so 74%, and nearly 2/3 of the men, 64%, in the survey reported they had not dated or dated only a few times in the last year. So that's the first finding. They're not dating. Ooh. And this is the young single adults, so 22 to 35. So these are the people that are going to be soon aging out. If only a third of them are dating. They're going to be in our population single.
They're going to be in our population very soon.
Yeah. So something to think about. Okay. The next thing was that they found that many young adults lack faith in their dating skills and their ability to initiate a promising romantic relationship. It says, in fact, it is safe to say that among the rising generation, dating confidence is low, with only about 1 in 3 young adults expressing much faith in their dating skills. So they don't feel very confident in their dating skills. I think you can apply that to single adults pretty easily.
Yeah, that one's
especially
easy.
After you've been married 35 years and you only ever dated your first husband. Really? Yeah. It's like there are no dating skills. Okay. Just saying. Then it says less than 4 in 10, so 37%, said they trusted their judgment when it comes to choosing a dating partner. That makes sense. I think I would say that we might be a little higher percentage just because we had some maybe failures. So we probably trust ourselves less than that.
Maybe, but you'd hope for we've got wisdom.
I know, but that's not what we hear when we talk to people. So I'm pretty confident that we're right in line with that. I think widows and widowers might have a higher degree of confidence because they had a successful marriage usually.
Yeah, but they're Oh, trust their judgment. Yeah, maybe their
Yeah.
judgment. I was going to say
Yeah.
their dating skills are like yours. They,
Yeah.
you dated back
Lacking.
in the in the 70s or 80s. Like it's
Yeah. And sorry about the glare, but I have to have my glasses on. So, okay. It says a similar minority of young adults expressed confidence in their ability to discuss feelings with a dating partner. So this is one of my pet peeves. I say this to Juan. I don't know, maybe not often, but I just I get irritated that people just can't say what's on their mind. Like, why do we have to play all the games? Like, why can't you just say how you feel or what you think? But anyway, this says that people don't like to talk about their feelings. So dating partner 34%, and picking up on social cues on dates. They're not good at that, 36%. And I would say I'm definitely not good at that, picking up on social cues. What about you?
Mhm.
So
Okay, you're
what do
going
you
to go.
guys think? Do you want to stop and talk about what
No,
we've
no,
got
let's
so
go back.
far?
Let's go to number 3 now. What's
You
number
want to go to
3?
number 3 now? All right. Says, let's see. Both men and women, younger and older, strongly endorse a dating culture focused on forming serious relationships. So they want serious relationships. They want long-term relationships. So 83% of women and 74% of men. And they also want emotional connection. 83% of women, 76% of men. So of course in our population they are not fond of the hookup culture or those kinds or casual dating. They really want a serious relationship.
That's the young adults, right?
Yeah, young adults. Yeah. Yeah, that might be different in the single adults, you think?
Yeah,
Scary.
big
Yeah.
time.
Okay. Do you want me to keep going or do you want to stop there? There's maybe one more statistic.
Okay, that's a statistic. Yeah.
Young adults reported significant, this is money worries and self-confidence are their biggest barriers.
Okay.
So this might be a little different, but actually there's a lot of financial setbacks when you get divorced. So it could be, and I've actually heard this on the post that people think dating's too expensive. So
Mm.
young adults reported significant financial and social emotional barriers to dating. It said let's see. The biggest barrier to dating is not having enough money. And let's see, personal factors get in their way. So at the top of this list were lack of confidence, 49%, and bad dating experiences in the past, 48%. So I'm sure we're pretty closely aligned with that.
It's just interesting because I mean these are the young people and
Yeah.
already had like these bad experiences. Like I
Yeah.
wonder what those really are.
Yeah.
know?
Wait till you go through a divorce, huh?
Yeah, wait till I go through a divorce.
Like what is it?
So that's,
It's
I mean,
traumatizing. This.
that is really sad for our young
Yeah.
adults to be like, I don't
Yeah.
remember having any of those feelings as a young adult. Like I
No,
just remember
no.
it was just a ball. I joined the church in an institute ward,
Yeah.
and that was so much fun. And went
Yeah.
out with all different guys and dances every week and just had a
Yeah.
ball. It never occurred to me to have any, and I was young, like this, I was very young, but
Yeah.
I still don't remember
Yeah,
lack of confidence
I
or,
think with the young adults, I think it has to do with their world of technology, you know,
They're losing their social skills.
spending time in, on a
Yeah.
screen and
It's a good
not
point.
really, you know what I mean?
maybe.
Not
Anyway,
getting
but
out there.
Yeah.
it's sad, isn't it? Because like
Yeah.
we've at least had children. We've been married, we've had children, we've lived
We
in
know the
partnership. We've had those
rewards of having a family and all
yeah,
the,
we've
yeah.
had those experiences. And so
Yeah.
if that doesn't happen for us, it's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Except for
there's
our
some
never
lonely.
marrieds, which, we can't forget them because that's a
Yes, the never
growing
married.
population.
The never marrieds have certainly got some of those issues. That's right.
Yeah.
But for us, we're sort of like, if it doesn't happen again, it's not sort of.
Yeah, I think this last one is the one that bothered me the most. It says 28% report that they can stay positive after a bad date or relationship setback. So that means that what, 72%
72.
can't or have trouble, thinking positive about dating after they've had a bad experience. And more than half, 55%, agreed that their breakups have made them more reluctant to begin new romantic relationships.
Yeah, no, and I think a lot of it has to do with the new mentality or idea of dating today.
Mhm.
It's not, I seriously don't think it's the way how God intended it to be, you know? And that's why, you know,
Maybe we
we're
should
facing all this stuff.
go back to parents picking our partners for us.
Yeah. I've often said that
No.
with my children. I'm like, can I just pick your partner for you? Like, I've got a good choice here for you. Like, I would love to do
We'll
that.
really
And-
go
and
back in time.
the divorce statistics of arranged marriages are no worse than
It's true.
people choosing their own. So yeah, like, okay, we'll start a new culture. We're going to choose our children's partners for them. How's that?
Yeah, I
no,
don't
it's
know.
okay.
It might work out just as good, but the problem is there's too many options when it doesn't work out, right? So they're not going to last like
Yeah.
they used to in the old days when, your life depended sometimes on staying
Well,
married. We
but I
don't have
think
those
this,
kinds of things. The takeaway from the study is that young adults could use basic help in just building dating skills and social skills, which kind of goes back to Juan's point about
Yeah. I mean, it's
phones
deeper
and
than that.
technology.
Yeah, and it's deeper than that. I think the main, I mean, and I always talk about this, and this is what ends my shows kind of quickly because I was kind of go back to the same thing,
Go to God.
is that's the main relationship. If you're not building that relationship, anything outside of that is we just guessing, and seriously, like dating in the church is no different than what the world's doing. Seriously, I don't see anything different. It's the same approach, you know.
well, hang on. I think I disagree.
Okay,
Um,
that's okay.
dating, yeah, it's okay, okay, good. Um, I think young adult dating and probably even senior dating should be about just getting to know people, enjoying company, getting to
Just
like
building
getting to know
relationships
people.
in general, huh?
Yeah, building relationships in general. Um, what? Why do we have to? Like eventually, for the young adults, you're hoping to find a marriage partner, but you're finding friends, you're learning to socialize, you're having fun, you're participating in activities.
And even some failures or when friendships go wrong, it teaches us amazing things like, how to say I'm sorry or how to work in the dynamic, that there's a lot of really good things that you learn in
Yeah.
building just basic friendships.
And plus what's important to you,
That's true.
so
Yeah.
you date somebody and you find that that's, like, no, I really can't cope with that particular characteristic. You're going, okay, that's,
Yeah, but I think a lot of the focus is, more on the superficial, especially with the online stuff. All you see is a picture of somebody, you know,
I don't
and I
believe that's changed one. I think that you go right
mm,
back to any, the 1800s. I love reading Regency romance books,
yeah,
and it's
well,
like,
yeah.
oh, look how nice she looks.
They do. Here's a mention. It says, many young adults today complain that the dating system is badly broken. They grumble about dating apps that present an abundance. I thought this was really true for us too, for me for sure. They grumble about dating apps that present an abundance of options, a mere swipe away, and that promote an attitude of relational consumerism and the repetitive cycle of matching, messaging, and meeting that ends in disappointment leads to significant dating fatigue and cynicism about the whole process. Similarly, they dislike the hookup culture that pervades dating and its emphasis on casual sex over building soulful relationships.
Yeah. And that's a big difference. One, you were saying there's no difference between in the church and out the church. I think there's an enormous difference because of sex. So
But again, we got to look at in what aspect, because there's different ways. Like you don't
Whether
have to
it's
be just
kissing,
physical.
I think, and one, people focusing on the physical
Yeah, I
piece.
think that's
we know that's a challenge.
It is a challenge. So,
well, but it's what I'm saying is that if you don't have the, no sex before marriage belief, then you just go have sex. And I think that's what we see happening in the world. And they sort of do that. And then marriage is like 5 years down the track from that. It's sort of like, oh, well, think about it. But, and so changing partners and.
yeah, definitely. That's a
a much bigger deal outside of the,
so
our
in
culture.
The church where we're hopefully people are maintaining no sex before marriage.
But I don't know. I think because of how things are, like we're skipping a lot of steps, and we're moving too fast when it comes
What do you
to
mean by that?
picking out a partner. For instance, like I think like hey, we were saying, like with the single adults, like you have this opportunity to make friends, and that's the first step. Like if you have an attraction to somebody, physical, that's the first thing, right? Because you see somebody, and you have this attraction, so that means in it's mutual. Then I think at that moment you want to just spend time to become friends. No holding hands, no kissing just because of the physical attraction. Leave that alone. Become friends. Go spend time doing activities, get to know each other at that point for at least like 2, 3 months. And then, you want to maybe address the question, hey, do you want to go further? And then you become officially exclusive. People don't even do that anymore. Like, yeah, let's date. And then you stick with that person. You know what I mean? And then you let things flow and then maybe you hold hands a little bit. But I think when you start like making out, when it isn't the time, that's when things start getting confusing for people. And yeah, and so I think we need to build a spiritual connection first, and then we can, move into the physical thing is really, you know, like it consumes, what's the word? Seals the deal kind of thing, but it has to happen in the right time. But I think we're rushing too much, too quickly into that. And I think it's just becoming all about the physical. And I think it's because of, again, we can go back to technology. Anyway, we become like insensitive, but at the same time, so emotional that,
do you mean desensitized?
yeah, there you go. And at the same time, like so emotional that we want to be with someone, we so bad that we rush things and then relationships don't work.
Yeah.
Or if we end up getting married, we end up in a divorce because of that, because the physical has taken over.
Yeah.
Well, there's certainly that angle, but this study is saying that 3/4 of people aren't even pretending to date.
Yeah, they're not even getting to that point. They just don't bother at all because they had a setback or don't want to try again, or they just feel uncomfortable dating. They don't have confidence.
Like a lot of my dating experience as a young adult was probably not what you would class as dating. It was more group activities and then, and spending time together in a group. So are they doing that? And they're just sort of saying, oh, we're not going on dates, but we are spending time in a group.
I don't know if
outdoor
this
activities.
survey addresses that. I know for, just knowing young people from the perspective of my son and kind of his process, they had a very close-knit group that they did things with. And it was a bit, sometimes 40 people in a group. They would do things like go to Lake Powell for a week or whatever and do canyoneering things. But it was always a big group like that. And then eventually they did all start to meet their person and get married. But they did a lot of group things together, which I do think is a good, healthy way to build friendships.
Exactly.
I think that's great. And so that you might not call that dating, but that to me is that what you're saying, that you get to know people and you get friendships, you're developing the relationships, you're learning the relationship how to have
Yeah.
relationships with a group of people.
Yeah.
Patience,
And I
time,
think going back
trust.
to people getting, not dating because they get hurt. And I think that's contributed to moving too quickly. You know what I mean? Moving too quickly, being outside of the margins that would have maybe, provided the means for a healthy, good relationship.
Well, and it does tie to the fact that the other statistic about how they're not comfortable having conversations about their feelings or connecting. And so those are things that come after you have a really good relationship with somebody. Then you can have those conversations and you feel more confident in it.
You got to get deep. We got
Yeah.
to get deep. You
Yeah.
got to get deep.
Yeah, but you don't do that on your first date. Like
No, no.
I do. But again,
I've had some men that I heard their whole life story.
yeah, I mean, because like in my case, and I'm not trying to scare the girl, but I'm just trying to be real and like, hey, I'm not here to waste your time, I'm here to waste my time,
But is what your definition is deep is like you don't tell your whole life story. You talk about the things you're really passionate about as far as your beliefs, right? That's what you mean by going deep. Yeah.
everything. I mean,
Everything.
anything that I feel deeply, I
Yeah.
share, obviously, I mean, not all in one date in the first date, but I'm
Yeah.
I get to the point where I'm just make it comfortable too. So,
Well, there is something to be said for somebody to be able to create a sense of emotional safety for people to share, like just because of
yes.
the coaching and the fact that I just truly love people and to hear what's going on for them. That's a desire of mine, is to always try to create that emotional safety. And so sometimes people do share or worry about oversharing to me, but I never feel like it's oversharing. I say that in jest because I care about people and what they care about. I want to know that stuff.
Mhm.
But some people probably do think it's too much information too
Yeah,
soon.
yeah. And sometimes, people are just not ready for that kind of thing, and that's okay. Like, all right,
Yeah.
you know.
But we still have to cross the hurdle of asking somebody out in the first place. Like, how do we get people to just have enough confidence to go on a date or to ask someone out? Because this survey is saying only 1 in 3 actually ever do that. Where does that come from? How do we overcome that?
I mean, again, it goes back to, being in activities, being in places where, you know, you got to be in a place where the connection is mutual,
Mhm.
and that's when things flow. Um, that's what I do. I don't just go randomly asking a girl out. Like, I need to know that, it's mutual, and then I'm like, I move forward.
Mhm.
And then trying to discover what's next. And sometimes it's just not a match in some of the things that I care about. And so I'm like, God bless.
Well, that's
But
right. So you're in a group and someone's attracted you and you're thinking, I'd like to get to know them better. And then that guy, they're like, it's just dinner. Like, you just go out to dinner.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, this is not marriage. This is just dinner. So you invite them out to dinner. You sit there and chat about random things. And in that conversation, you will go, no, that's a definite no for me.
Right.
And
But do you think
without it having to be some sort of dramatic event.
rejection, fear of
Yeah.
rejection and abandonment? But do you
Yeah.
think that we're building a culture that is a little like too soft or not doesn't, and this kind of does go back to your comment about
I think,
connecting with God, because
yeah, I think selfish.
yeah, that's a
I
good
think selfish.
perspective. Selfish
That's why people get hurt, because they're thinking so much about what they want.
themselves.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
they want to get. And so when they're not getting that, their ego, you know,
They
Crumbles a
feel
little.
rejected.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I think it is. And I mean, it goes back to technology. It disconnects us from from, it makes us insensitive to others,
It
and to
does.
other people's needs. He's more about us. And so,
I read an article yesterday. It was a lady who'd said, the parenting style of the 80s was a great parenting style, which was, child comes to the door with some problem and the mum says, go away and figure it out yourself. Go and figure it out.
I got that a lot.
Yeah. And she said that, that parenting style taught her resilience and to figure things out. And so in her adult life, she's been able to go and figure things out. And, have we, pampered our children so much that here they are now in the big wide world and they don't know how to figure out even something like asking someone on a date?
Well, I will tell you, I just sat with a group of high school kids that were getting counseling on how to get a summer job.
Yeah.
And one of the questions was, is it okay for your parents to come with you? What do you think was the resounding answer?
They all thought it was, did they?
A
Really?
big percentage was like, yeah. And the career counselor said that she actually just the other day had a 78-year-old dad call her and say, will you please help my 50-year-old son get a job? So I think there is like a shift that parents kind of have just stepped in too much and wanted to take care of and nurture, maybe as a overcompensation for the 80s.
Yeah. Maybe we did it too much.
Yeah, they swung the pendulum the
I'm not
wrong
quite sure.
direction too far.
I remember a friend of mine literally locked the door.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think we are probably building out of a desire to love our children and do things for them. We've probably erred in the wrong direction for sure, but
yeah, with my son, like one of the things with my son, he's 16, and I'm telling him, like, right now, this is your time to build your relationship with God.
yeah.
But, these Valentines that just kind of said, give a rose to, buy, let's get a whole bunch of roses and just hand them out to the girls, like, happy
Wow, I
Valentine's
bet
Day.
that didn't go over.
You know what I mean? Like,
Did he
and the whole
accept
point
it?
of that, no, he didn't. But the whole point of it is to kind of teach him that, just get out there,
Good
just
suggestion.
just
So,
acknowledge,
look,
oh,
I
there
got
you
a
go,
rose.
nice.
Oh, was
You
that for
know,
Valentine's?
That's from my granddaughter's boyfriend.
Oh, that's sweet.
They decided to give me a rose too.
anyways, but
That's right.
because
Giving
he's gonna
roses
get to
can
that
be.
point. He's gonna get to that point where he's gonna be uncomfortable if he's not, if uh, he's not being
Be-
taught,
Besides that, it's just kind of romantic, to teach him to do
Yeah.
kind little things like that. So it is sweet.
Yeah.
But
So is that
dads probably don't do that.
He's taking more his
yeah?
mom's
So is
side.
that back to that character trait of confidence? Like we
Yeah.
all need way more confidence.
Yeah.
So it sounds like all ages need more confidence.
Mhm.
Like I said to
Yeah.
Kim before, like, well, are you asking people out?
Yeah.
The rules
I
say
have
that girls are allowed to do that now.
I know. I have asked people to go do things with me,
Yeah.
but
Well,
I
isn't that
wouldn't
a date?
classify it. Well, I guess maybe, I don't know, but I have said, "Hey,
I
will you
don't.
go do this with me?"
Yeah.
But I think if you use the date word, the people get a little worried, and so I never preface it as a date, but I love people's company or I want to get to know somebody better, and I'll say, "Well, let's go do something." But I don't really ever classify it as a date necessarily.
Well, that's right. I'm not using the date word either. I just say,
Yeah.
hey, I'm going to be near where you live. Do you want to
Yeah.
go do this with me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and I think that's awesome because, and again, it goes back to starting to build a friendship, Just
well,
be
and,
friends, be friends, be
at our age,
friends.
we do have, our friends are all over the place. So
Yeah.
surely if someone's going to be in your town,
Yeah.
it's nice for them to phone you and say, I'm going to be in town. I've got this night free. Do you want to go out to dinner?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be called a date. Isn't it just called a friends going out?
Yeah, I think there's a lot more pressure if you call it a date that we don't really need to put on ourselves because it really is just getting to know each other. It's not a,
Mhm.
but
See what's there, and then you
yeah,
can ask
yeah,
Yeah. So let's just take
for a
the
date.
date word out of it and call it
yeah,
friends going out to dinner, or friends
yeah,
going to a show, or friends going to the temple, or friends
yeah,
going for a walk. Like, surely
yeah.
all of those things are things you do with.
Well, I went to the conference, the Gilbert Single Adult Conference just this last weekend. And, I have a friend group. We talked about it a little bit, Kay, on our last podcast, that my big thing is to try and push myself to not just stay in my friend group. And I was actually talking to one of the singles. He's a widower. And I asked him, well, do you have a group that you kind of, migrate to or hang out with? And he said no, because of that fact, because he's found that the tendency is to just stick in that group and then not really build friendships or meet new people, or they kind of just get stuck in, I'm just in this friend group. They're not really dating
Yeah.
or progressing in terms of anything. They're just in a friend group. And
Mhm.
so he said he doesn't do that. But then we asked the question. He has a close friend that's kind of like Juan and I. She's quite a bit younger than him. And he said, we go do stuff all the time, but we would never be in like a relationship because of the age difference. And he said, but we're comfortable together and we enjoy each other's company and we just go do stuff. And so then that took us on the conversation of, can you, and their gap was big, like 20 plus years, but it brings up the question of, can you be a friend with the opposite sex? Can you just be a friend with the opposite sex? And how does that work? And how do you, because there's a lot of people that believe that's not possible. And I don't think that's true, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, so that's another piece is when we talk about building friends, what does everybody think about that? Can you have a friend that's, just simply a friend that's the opposite sex or not? And are people capable of that? I think definitely.
I
I
think,
mean, I feel that's
yeah,
possible for Juan and I, but
Well, that's a question for
obviously,
I
everybody
think most
out
people
there.
have
We'd love
that.
to hear your views, because I'm not sure you can. So, yeah, I'd like to hear people's experiences, views. Can you be friends, just
Mhm.
friends with someone of the opposite sex? Um,
Yeah.
is there is there something your relationship has to go through to achieve that? Like you've tried the dating bit and you've thought about each other as a partner, but then you've dismissed it, and so now you can put it in a friend group or something. Is there sort
Yeah.
of
I
some
actually know
stage?
a few people that have said that before,
Yeah.
that have said, yeah, we dated once, but now we know we're just really good friends.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I guess is there some kind of progression there or something?
Progression. Yeah.
Yeah,
And is it
it
is
takes time. I mean, in my relationships, I connect really deeply, and it takes a process to detach that aspect,
To
of
get to
someone.
a just friend stage, you mean?
I mean,
Or
to be comfortable. I mean,
right.
I'm not saying those people aren't my friends, but it's not, uh, you're not going to
Like
be going out with them just
right.
randomly.
Well, like if you were in a very close romantic relationship and then decided that's not going to work, you're right. It takes like a period of kind of being away from each
Yeah,
other to
yeah,
kind of break
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. At least for me,
Yeah, I think
and
that makes sense.
I mean, I'm friends with people that I dated before.
all right. So, how many of these statistics apply to our age groups? So, the over 35 or over 45 age group,
Hmm.
we're suspecting that many of them apply.
Yeah, I would say consistently we hear that people aren't dating. So I know those statistics apply.
Hmm.
And I think, setbacks in relationships and the lack of confidence, I think those are definitely the case. Would you disagree with that?
I think I think there's in our group there's people not calling it like dating, like an official dating, but still like hookups,
Like having physical intimacy without,
whatever, or
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 just,
friends with benefits kind of thing.
yeah,
They're not dating. They're just, you know, doing that, whatever.
yeah,
I think that's very common. Especially people that have, been married before and they're used to that. And but they don't want to commit. There's a
Yeah.
lot of that lack of commitment.
Yeah.
I
You know?
I can see that
Scary.
in a worldly point of view, and I've seen the church version. It's discussed in one of the Facebook groups I'm on, and they said like, yes, so what I would do is marry someone, but we would keep our own houses and keep our own routines and just hook up sometimes. But we would marry because that's
Just to make that official.
doing it
Mhm.
But
official.
lead separate lives.
But
Wow.
lead separate lives. And I looked at that and thought, yeah, that would probably be close to what I would.
Yeah.
would.
Well, I would say there's probably definitely a difference because we would make the assumption with the young single adults that they don't know what they're missing. And
Mm.
when after you've been married or not missing, yeah. Yes, good point. You're right. But
Oh no, because
No.
no,
Good. It's good.
I'm a real fan of marriage.
Yeah, me too.
yeah.
And I
Well,
think,
and we're
and
all
it's
real
a real,
fans of physical intimacy too.
yeah,
And we do,
we're
and
real
so
fans.
Partnership.
yeah. So it is
So I
more
think it's
challenging from that perspective
it's
because,
more challenging.
yeah.
But I think it's very sad to hear these statistics for the young adults because I do think that marriage is really important and for so many reasons. But yeah, you're missing out stuff, guys. If you
Yeah.
it's
Well, not I mean, definitely in the physical intimacy part, but I really just in having a close bond with somebody, all the other aspects of being in a relationship and a marriage and
yeah.
gosh, we can say that even though we ended up divorced, but there's still so many amazing benefits to being in a close relationship with somebody.
But the things that I miss most are, the physical intimacy, yes, but also the emotional intimacy. Somebody at the end of the day, you say, hey, guess what happened? And the good stuff as well as the bad stuff.
Yeah.
It's nice to tell somebody, like, guess what happened to me today? And
Yeah.
but it's the building a life together too, so we've built, we've bought homes and we've moved, well, we moved countries, we've moved, houses, we've built businesses, there's a whole life experience that goes with that.
And there
just,
actually is a lot of research about doing projects together and how it brings people so close, which is what you're speaking to in a relationship that those things are bond building, that those are kind of forever things
they were
when you
so,
do those
and
things
when you
together.
look back, they were the fun times that, the tackling the weeds, just we decided to do a vegetable garden and then of course didn't do any, built it and then ignored it and
you got it all planted and then it turned to weeds.
then it turned to weeds. But spending a whole day turning it back into a really nice garden. And I can remember
Those are the good things.
we then had a watering system set up and we left it for a few weeks or something, came back and we had this massive harvest and it was, I don't know, it's rewarding. It's, renovating a really run-down house. It's rewarding.
Yeah.
That
and
partnership.
So, your marriage might end in divorce, but some of that stuff still stays.
Yeah.
And then, of course, having children is, it's another one that's got lots of negatives. Like, it's hard work having children.
Yeah.
But, gee, I wouldn't want to have missed it.
No, the rewards are far outweigh the negatives.
Yeah.
So we have to figure out, I don't know, maybe we need to start a series on building dating skills and how to overcome that.
Well, I'm a bit, why don't people our age have those? Because surely we've got confidence by now.
I don't know, unless you had a very troublesome marriage or a huge setback that has crushed your ego so much you just don't want to try again. But hopefully that goes back to our Healing After Divorce series. And hopefully people are making the investment to heal so that they are willing to try again.
Yeah,
that's right. Isn't that about that? Once you've healed, like 100%, you need to heal if it. But and even from a good marriage, you still need things to think. Oh yeah, we didn't do that right, and I don't want to go into that type of argument again. So there's always things you can improve on. And I suspect that's why God wants marriage between a man and a woman, because it is a growth experience.
Absolutely.
It's so easy to sit at home and live in my comfortable life at home.
Yep. I agree.
Is there a point where it's okay that you just sit at home and be comfortable? I think there probably is, but I don't think it's at 30 or 40 or even 50.
Yeah, I think that's true.
70, 80, yeah. It's
if you want to live a long life, you need that. It's part of it.
Yeah, there's lots of research about that too. Yeah. That you live longer if you're in a marriage.
All right. So we would love to hear people's opinions about why they think older people have the same statistics or even worse. What you think needs to happen, what your questions are. We would love to hear about those things.
Yeah.
Because we know that many, many, many people in our community want to date.
Yeah.
So
and
what's stopping you?
I just want to, send an invitation to all the singles. Let's get married, man. Let's stop wasting
about it.
Stop wasting your time.
And actually pick up the phone.
Yeah, pick up the phone.
Let's do it.
So there's 2 people here who would like to date, guys. So go for
it.
Right.
Hey, there's not 3 of us. Is that what I heard?
I'm a bit more.
She's working on it. So that's good. At least start working on it. That's somebody else. That's the challenge.
Thank you everybody for being a part of our dating series, and we'd love to hear more so we can discuss dating more. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.